Hello, for this tutorial I'm going to be kind of covering how to complete this Design and Software Skills 3.3, the Illustrator Pen and Area Type Tool tutorial. In this one we're going to learn how to draw with the pen tool and fill in a shape with the text tool. You'll also learn how to use the Rotate tool. So I'm going to open up Illustrator, go File, New, create a new letter size document which is 8.5 inches by 11 inches right there, and click OK. Now if you read the tutorial, they have you start by clicking on the pen tool and just practicing drawing triangles. So they just have you start by, click, 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 practice just drawing some different triangles right here. So I think the point of this is to just, again, get you a little bit more familiar with the pen tool. Once you've practiced drawing the triangles, select them and delete. Now we get into drawing the arrow. So I'm going to start over. I'm going to click right there. I'm going to hold down the Shift key. The Shift key will make a perfectly straight line for me. I'm going to click over here. Now I have a perfectly straight line right there. There's one. I'm going to continue to hold down the Shift key. Click right there. Then I'm not holding down the Shift key right now. I'll click right there. Then I'm going to come right to where I think the bottom of this should be. We can adjust later on, but I'll click. Now I'm holding down the Shift key again because I want a straight line. I'm still holding down the Shift key, and then I'm just going to connect these two right in there. So we're going to need to make some adjustments right there because that's not perfectly straight. First, we need to make an adjustment over here. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to hold down Control plus plus plus, Control minus to zoom out a little bit. I'll come over, scroll down. Then I'm going to use right here, this direct selection tool. Click on one of the points right there, and I'm going to move this over using the arrow keys. Now what is nice is I can kind of drag this over if I want. I can just come back, click and hold on this, hold down that. I can just kind of come in here. Now notice how that's looking really straight on that edge. So that's actually exactly where I want this to be. That's perfect. I can get that right there. So that's perfect. Alright, so now that I've done that, I'm going to kind of come over here, and I'm looking. This point isn't exactly where I want it, so I can click on that. Remember, I'm using this tool right here. These two aren't really lined up, so I can actually, rather than just selecting this one point, I can select both of these, kind of move them a little bit so that this is lined up a little bit better. A good way to see if they're lined up, you can just actually create like a rectangle, kind of drop it down. So then I can select these points right here, move them over, line them up so they're just lined up exactly straight. I know that they are, and hit delete. I think when I was moving this one around over here, this got on an angle. I can see that that's on an angle right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of create a box right here, and I want these 2 points, so I'll kind of just drag that point up right there, and then I'm going to click on this point and I'll drag it up right there, so I know that it's perfectly straight. Alright, so there is my arrow. That's looking pretty good. I created it using the Shift key a lot. Now that I have that, I want to use I'm going to click on the text tool here. I can actually make let me select this whole thing. I'm going to make the stroke color nothing. Also make the fill color nothing. And then I'm going to click on the text tool and go into the area type tool. Alright, I'm going to start. I want to use, in terms of the font, I'm going to kind of click on this. Alright, in terms of, I want to use 6-point font, so I'll make that 6-point font right there. I want to use Rosewood, so I'll select that. Rosewood font, 6-point Rosewood font, and I can just type in, I think I'll use all caps. Oh, I don't like that rosewood font at all. That's not correct. Do I have Arial on here? Let's see. That, yeah, because that font's not correct. I'll just use Arial. And then I want this to be a little bit bolder, so I use bold Arial. That should work for me. Who else is gonna bring you a broken arrow? Alright, so I'm noticing this is a little bit big for my arrow, so I'm gonna change the font down to maybe 4 right there. Alright, so now that I have this written right there, I'm gonna go ahead and copy that, hit space, paste. And then I'm just gonna have to hit space, paste, space, paste, paste, and I'm gonna fill this entire thing in here with these words. It's important that you have a space between all of your words, or else the fill does not work very well. Alright, now notice I have the little plus over there. That's okay, I'm just gonna hit delete. The reason I have the plus there is because some of the words that tried to fill in here, you'll notice when I paste, they just kind of go into this extra area. So now I want to work on my alignment. So I'm going to select all of this text, and I want to align it that direction. Align it right. Alright, so that's working really well for me. If you notice, like center, if I use that, I want this to be kind of following this line to really make the arrow. You can kind of take a look off of this. That looks a little bit like an arrow, but if I come in here and I align, whoops, let me click on the text tool, and I align all this to the right, and then I click off of it, that looks much more like an arrow. Alright, so that's perfect. So now that I have this, I'm going to select the whole thing. I'm going to kind of bring it over to the edge there. I'm going to make a copy of it, so I can go edit copy, then I'll go edit paste, and it makes a copy of it. Now I go to object, transform, rotate, and I want to rotate this 180 degrees. Then I'm just going to kind of bring this, and I kind of want this to be over here. Then next, I am going to create another copy of this, so Control C, Control V, or edit copy, edit paste. I'm going to go to transform, rotate this thing 90 degrees. Just kind of fit it in right there. And then let me do Control Z to zoom out. Let's center these. And then I'll do another Control C, Control V to paste that. Object, transform, rotate. Let's rotate that 180 degrees. Kind of just bring that and put it in there. Okay, now that I have all of these in here and they're all kind of lined up making that X, I can use the selection tool, select all of them, and then I can rotate them 45 degrees. If I just hold down the shift key while I'm rotating it, it'll automatically rotate it 45 degrees for me. And perfect. So this is how to accomplish this tutorial, 3.3, the text inside of an area tool. You got to use the pen tool for this one. If you notice, I'll click on the we kind of have our text rotated around here. And this kind of creates a cool effect. Anyway, I think that's it. So hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial.